Good morning, Flosstube. I promised to be back and show you my Apostles' Creed once it had been picked up from the framer. I am so excited to share with you today the fully finished piece. We are very pleased with it. It has not been hung in the house yet, but we are debating where to place it. Once we decide, I will try to have my daughter show me how to attach a photo at the end of a video of where it is, but that may be a while before we get it completely hung and decorated around. Then I have my second finish for 2023, and this is all quite exciting to this old lady who has starchitis, who is now learning to have finish-itis. It may be a short video because I do not have any of my other WIPs. Well, yes, I'm telling you a story. There is one WIP that I've been working on after my finish. But other than that, I hope to have other WIPs to show you in the next few weeks because I will be refocusing now on what I'd like to finish next. I hope you are well. This is Friday, February 17th. We just finished February 14th. I hope you had a good Valentine's or Galentine's as we celebrated in my church on the night before Valentine's Day. I hope all is well in your corner of the world. So we will begin by showing the finish that is not fully finished, but finished. And then we will have the unveiling of the fully finished piece. So I told you that I had planned to stitch trees until this piece was complete. And that has been accomplished. Although I must tell you, I do not want to stitch in green or brown for a little while. Oh goodness, there are a lot of little trees. This is Rosewood Manor, Music Amongst the Trees. I stitched with two threads of DMC over 2 on white linen, which is 32 count. And here is my finished piece. We have said to each other, my husband and I, that we will have this one framed maybe next month. We're gonna save up because, you know, professional framing is not cheap. I've folded it so that hopefully you can get the full effect, but even that, it's going to be hard to hold. This is a big piece. All right, well, the bottom's gonna fall. I want to try my best to get you up close because, as I've said, these colors with the DMC are just lovely. And you know how much I love Rosewood Manor. It seems that I am drawn to her patterns over and over. If you look at it long enough, you'll pick a favorite big tree and you'll probably pick a favorite critter. Let's see if I can go over to this side. And I cannot see what you're seeing now. You'll see that I put my friend's initials and mine at the bottom of the quote. Hope you're not getting a terrible glare there. For now, my favorite tree is the one in the middle with the pink blooms. And I do think the 2 bunnies on the top of that tree are now my favorites for now. But I love all the birds and the bee. Oops. The thing about this piece is you do stitch a lot of these little trees. So once you've got that in your mind, it's easy to do those. But even those have 2 colors in them. And of course, placement is so key to counting over and putting them in the right place. huge thanks to my friend Donna who purchased this for me and who encouraged me to finish it. And I will read you the verse again. There is always music amongst the trees in the garden, but our hearts must be very quiet to hear it. I want this in a place where I can read that and remember it, because that's just a precious quote that someone thought of. You know, as I'm looking at this now, there is no motif on here that has less than 2 colors. Most of them have at least 3 or 4, and that is very characteristic of Rosewood Manor. And I also am seeing for the first time, even though I've stitched it, this beautiful tree with the blues in the top. We may have to say that's a favorite as well. Oh, it's just always something beautiful, excuse me for standing up, with Rosewood Manor. Now let me show you the salvation to stitching these projects. And I have to tell you that our Flosstube friend Cynthia Brew, Stitching in the Light, told me about this when I first started stitching Summer Quakers, which I had done several years ago. You need a needle organizer so that you can have all your needles ready with all your colors. And this is not all of them, actually. I've only done about 20, maybe 15 for those last few motifs I had to stitch. But that way you are not constantly threading and rethreading and rethreading and rethreading. So if you have your number here, next time I do this, I don't know if you have room for the symbol. I may just put the symbol. Those numbers are hard to read. And you just pull from your organizer to stitch, because you're always changing colors so often. So this was by Paco, but I know that they have some knockoffs. I will use this for my next project that has a lot of colors for sure. Definitely a game changer. Okay, here's the big reveal. I am so excited. I'm going to stand up to show you this, and just forgive me if you cannot see the whole thing at once. By My Big Toe, Apostles' Creed. Let me see how I can hold it without dropping it. It's almost as tall as I am. So we chose the same frame and the same mat that we had used on our anniversary piece, which I had stitched for our 35th, I guess, wedding anniversary. But this gentleman did an amazing, amazing job. I'm going to get up close for the border, which is, I think, my favorite color part of this piece. And you can see the crowns there that are stitched in amongst the words. There is also a cross at some point. I know I'm going backwards. There is the top border, and you see the alphabet and the numbers. But goodness, people, I think it's the biggest piece I've ever finished. And I'm just amazed that it's complete. It will be a treasure for our family. In his true fashion, my husband said, well, you could stitch some other blue and white pieces and we could just have them all on the wall together. And I'm thinking, okay, we'll see. We won't eat, we won't sleep, we'll just stitch. But I'm appreciative of his interest. And it will be near the anniversary piece, obviously. Probably not on the same wall, but maybe adjacent walls. We're working on it. This was on even weave, 32 count, 2/2. And it was Gentle Art Midnight, along with a hand-dyed Light Blue and Lavender Floss by Samantha of Crafting Between Stitches. Okay. Just thrilled. We did pay extra for museum quality glass so that you don't deal with the glares and the muting of the colors. But we are definitely going to stick with putting glass on our pieces. The framer agreed that keeping the dust and also the glass gives UV protection for your colors, which is a big deal. All right, people, I'm going to move over and put this down gently. Excuse me. I will definitely not have as big a finish to show you for a long time. Okay, now the WIP that I've been working on is my Winter Garden by Hello from Liz Matthews. And this was purchased in South Carolina, Surfside, South Carolina at Barefoot Needle Arts. They had a trunk show of Liz Matthews at the time, which was such fun. I don't think I've ever seen a trunk show before. I made it to the corner where I had grumbled about having had to rip everything out, but I have, not had time to add all that border back in. But what you see on this corner, that's where I had made the mistake. I had to rip out the reindeer, put him back in after putting in the 3 colors of border, which I had forgotten. So this floral motif is the end of the row. I'm just not quite finished filling in the flowers. The flowers are where they need to be, but I need to fill in their insides. And I also will be putting a bird motif right here. Let me try to get back so you can see. This will be the size of the piece. Now there will be border under the straight lines, and I'll show you that again. So if I can find the time today, I'm hoping to finish filling in those flowers and start the bird motif up here. And of course I do need to fill in that border underneath. These are all DMC colors, and I just love the way those are working together. And it's not a difficult stitch if you pay attention, which I was not doing. This is on, what is this on? A mystery even weave, 2/2. It is a 28 count, I believe. So if you look at the picture again, you will see that under the 3 straight line colors on the bottom, we're going to have the little scallops. So it would be cool if I could fill those in. I wonder how mindless that would be. Maybe. And you can see then I already put in the, there's one butterfly that I've put in right here. But I'll need another bigger butterfly and the bird. And then what is that there? Is that another little butterfly? Yes. So I have 3 more butterflies to put in and a bird on that corner. And then the border on the sides is 1 straight line color and the scallops. I think I told you before how much I loved Liz Matthews' patterns and her designs. It's a fun new designer for me, and I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, that's it for the stitching, although I want to comment on your precious comments from my WIP parade and my struggles with finishing. So many kind and very gentle encouraging remarks. And guys, I have not responded to your comments other than to love them. Things have been crazy, but they meant so much to me. The fact that, yes, I need to focus on finishing, but no, I do not need to put pressure on myself. This is a hobby. We are supposed to love our hobby, but also that understanding that some people are monogamous stitchers and they're going to stitch until that project is finished. And some of us have 40, 50, 80, 90 WIPs, and that doesn't bother us. And then all of us as stitchers want a finished project. product. So we are going to encourage each other toward those finishes, but still enjoy every stitch we put in. Thank you all for your heartfelt encouragement and your comments about the vastness of my stash and the variety in those WIPs. And I do enjoy stitching a wide variety of things. So thank you all. It means so much. If you are new on board, please come back. I often have more WIPs to show, rarely more finishes, but hopefully that's going to change. Okay, I have a book I want to show, a Valentine gift that is actually related to my gardening, which is non-existent right now, and a new craft start that I have because of a class that was taught at our church. Let me start with the other craft, and then we'll move on to plants and flowers and books. Very quickly, though. It won't be much longer. So last weekend, we had a precious lady teach a class in our church on Saturday morning for anyone who wanted to learn how to knit. We had 21 ladies, which is a large group for us, and this sweet, patient, lovely lady went around and helped everyone either learn to knit, learn to the knit stitch after learning to cast on. The next class we will learn the purl stitch. But what I took to the class, I came home and ripped out. It was just the beginning of a scarf and the yarn was frustrating. But when I got home, I found 2 skeins of this white yarn from Hobby Lobby, Baby B. It's called Soft and Sleek Baby. Low pill fiber. And this is, I think, just acrylic. Let me read. My goodness, it doesn't even tell me what it's made of. How? Oh yes, low pill acrylic. So it's 100% acrylic, very soft. It is acceptable and lovely for a baby Afghan because it is so washable. And it does suggest for knitting needles a size 6. So I spent, here I am on a no spend, but I'm trying to be wise, size 6 circular knitting needles. These I bought at Michael's. There's supposed to be a new design with this little gold ball here at the end that makes that slipping over into the circular part of the needle much easier. And so far that has been the case. And then I found a baby Afghan pattern that only uses knit. Well, obviously you cast on, then knit, and then yarn over. And I remembered how to do yarn over. So guys, I have a start to a little Afghan, and I'm happy with it. I want to get a nicer yarn at some point, but since I am such a beginner, this is going to be adequate. And if you can tell, the way you stitch it, you get a little border as you go. So I'm going to do this Afghan and see if I can get all the way finished without too many difficulties. What you do is you cast on 5, and then you knit 5, and from then on after that row, you knit 2, yarn over, and knit to the end. That's what you do. Cast on 5, knit 5, second row, knit 2, yarn over, knit to the end. Then when you get 144 stitches on your needle, which will be the halfway mark, then you start the decrease. And I have no idea how you do that. It has to do with knit 2 together, but I have a video that I'm watching. I will do my best to put that in the description box in case anyone is interested in a beginner Afghan, but I'm just loving the texture of this and how that little border just happens. And so then you have the knit stitch for the whole piece. So I'm bad about knitting very tightly, so I'm working on that. But you know, we have to practice. It is a good, almost mindless activity for travel or for maybe knitting while watching something. We'll see how that goes. Okay, I had mentioned to you the 2 books by Sarah McCoy that I had finished. One was Marmee, the mom from Little Women, and then the next was Caroline, the mother from the Little House series, Laura Ingalls Wilder. I just finished Marilla, of Green Gables. This one is much shorter. Oh, people, if you love Anne of Green Gables, you will love this. It is a really wonderful book. Now I need to go back and reread all the Anne books. And of course, Sarah McCoy is fictionalizing the story of each of these women and what happened before the famous books that followed. But I love the way she handles the stories. This one is very clean, very, very well written, and oh so heartwarming, I'll say that. So, Marilla of Green Gables by Sarah McCoy. Sarah McCoy is maybe my new favorite modern author, so we'll see what else I can find by her. Okay, something that's made me smile all the last 2 weeks, I went to our local garden center to look for a flower to plant on my front porch, and she had just gotten in these miniature African violets. I want you to look at those blooms. Is that not the sweetest? Now, it came, of course, oops, I just put water out, just like this. And I just put it in this sweet little blue and white cup that is, if I'm not mistaken, where is this from? Well, I know it's China from, of course I can't read it, Holland. Made in Holland, yes, of course. You see the windmills and the tulips. We only have one of these, so my husband didn't mind me taking it and putting my flower in it. But I have gotten so much joy out of this, and it's still blooming. So for now, I have it in the kitchen window. I'll see if it needs to go in a different light source, because I do have a bathroom window that African violets love. But for now, it is so happy. And I am watering it from below, which is key with African violets. And then the final gardening acquisition. This was my Valentine gift, along with a lovely nightgown. Too much information, right? But this, to me, it looks like modern sculpture. Look at this. But it's actually a rose bush. So we're going to get it put out in the yard. It's been too cold and wet to do that. But it is called iceberg rose. And it's supposed to give you long stem flowers, and they'll be white. We'll see if we get flowers. Y'all know I struggled with my roses for the last few years and ended up saving them by amending the soil with coffee and some other special amendments, I guess. Mostly coffee. Did I put anything else out there? I think it was mostly coffee, and then trying to water since we live in a dry area. Anyway, I have sculpture, but it will be hopefully a blooming rose bush. I have laughed about that because to see it from a distance, you would not know that that was a rose bush. Have a wonderful end to your February. Stitch all you can and encourage someone in your life who needs the same encouragement you all gave me. It means so much. The other comment I was going to make before I close is that the reason I'm filming today, other than the fact that we have beautiful sunshine today, is because I was able to talk with and catch up with 2 of our precious daughters. And I had also been able to do that yesterday with another daughter who, bless her, is dealing with a sick baby and sick herself. And last night we were able to celebrate our youngest, who is our son, celebrate his birthday. So dinner with his wife and him, and then another of our daughters. It has been a couple of days of family blessings, and so I was energized and enthusiastic about coming on here without looking like I was tired and discouraged to show you my finishes and just talk a little bit about the craft we love. Thank you for coming. Please subscribe if you have not. Keep those comments coming. You just made my day. And I hope to see you soon with some more WIPs, maybe not finishes, possibly a book. Who knows? I might even have a new rose bush. Just kidding. Take care. Sending love from sunny Texas. Hope to see you soon.